Welcome to 5 Minute Friday, everybody, where we share our best tips and tricks to help you get just a little bit better every week. And this week, we are talking about coping with burnout.
All right, you last week were kind of coming out with the fact that, hey, feeling some burnout. Like, I'm really I'm under it right now.
Let me clarify. I'm experiencing a substantial amount of burnout, some that an amount that I have never felt before.
Okay, so
yeah.
in fairness,
I'm dying.
You have not had the week that everybody else has now had to think about that. This is 5 seconds later. We just rolled into the next episode.
I'm not coming in here saying, I'm healed.
Yeah, right. But there hadn't been a whole lot of time to get out of the hole. So that was something you were saying, like, hey, it took a minute to get here. It might take a minute to get out.
So in the next 7 minutes, we're going to dig me out of this hole.
Boom. Here we go.
Fixed. Healed. Hallelujah.
All right. Enter Simon Sinek. I heard something.
Always.
Okay.
Always.
No, there are two that I've heard recently. I want to pull on a bit. But one is Simon Sinek. The other one's John Delony.
Okay.
So Simon Sinek, I heard him coming on and saying, hey, you might be feeling, kind of like the stress or like burnout or whatever. But if you're a leader, like, you can't show up and dump that on your team, right? You can't just keep showing up in meetings and just being like, guys, I'm so burnt out. Oh my gosh, things are bad. Like, when you're working with people that you have to lead, you can't just continually dump that on the people around you. Like, so like, but you do need to do something with it. We were talking last week about how, hey, I mean, you probably need to talk to somebody about this and not just like harbor it. And you were sharing that, hey, well, me and Sam, like we're talking about it. She definitely knows this. She's heard a lot about it recently. That's what kind of made me think about it. Like, the suggestion was, you can't talk about it necessarily in front of everybody at your company all the time, the people that you're trying to lead. You can't do that every day, but you need to do that. Know who your friend, like, find your friends, like, find your group, know who you can vent to. Venting is important. That, like, getting it off your chest and being able to speak about it in a way that's constructive and freeing is an important thing. So don't neglect that, but know where it needs to be. Okay. So that's kind of the first part of it, is like, I want to encourage that behavior we were talking about last week, but I also want to draw a line and say, that's probably not in staff meeting. That's probably not every Monday morning meeting. And I'm like, I'm guilty of this, like showing up and just belly aching about this or that or the other. And
it's different with a podcast, I might add, because everybody that we're talking about is listening to this. Oops. Anyway, does this count? Does this count as dumping it on our team if they listen to it?
Allegedly listening to it.
Listen, guys.
Allegedly.
All right, team, I don't need you to listen to this one, all right? Just release it. Don't think. Just go, all right?
They tell us they listen. Okay, so
allegedly.
The next one is just some suggestions that I heard from Dr. Delony. And that was, like, when you're going home from work, that can be a good little buffer time. That is one of the good parts about not being work from home. And maybe if you work from home, you're going to have to find that buffer.
Go
time.
Walk the dog or something like that.
Yeah,
Give
go 15 minutes and make that your, like,
commute.
Fake commute.
Yeah.
And use that as a time to defrag. But the idea was, like, all right, you're processing the day, you're stressed out, you were bickering with somebody before you left, that you had an email drop at 5:00 about a deadline that's happening tomorrow, whatever it is. When you get home, you pull into the garage, the driveway, the parking space, whatever, you go, all right, I'm about to get out of the car. Before you get out of the car, stop. Take 3 deep breaths. Just fill your lungs with air, let them out, and start relaxing. And then make a conscientious effort to put a smile on your face. Smile, like physically smile. And think about, like, drop your shoulders. Try to relieve the stress and drop your shoulders. Yeah, a lot of physical touchy-feely stuff, right? Like, okay, so you're going to do all of that stuff, and while you're doing it,
I'm there.
All right,
I'm in it.
You're going to tell yourself, I'm not going to go in and dump all this on my family. What you're trying to do is have a moment where you're saying, my family doesn't deserve to be the recipient of my stress.
Especially for guys.
Yeah.
It's anger.
Snippiness, irritability. Yes.
Yep.
So I'm about to walk in, and my 2-year-old might spill milk all over the floor or grab the Cheerio box and shake it all over the floor, or anything 2-year-olds do.
Take off his diaper while it's got a present in it.
You don't know.
Run around the house.
And if you're in the parenthood, you know what we're talking about.
Had some black beans last night. Had no idea.
Just bring yourself down a notch and understand that work thing doesn't entitle you to come home and put it on them. They don't deserve that. That wasn't their thing. They didn't send you the deadline. They didn't yell at you.
Yep.
They've been waiting for you to come home, get the hugs. You know, if they're teenagers, I can tell you the teenagers aren't meeting me at the door anymore with hugs. I miss that. But hey, I go up to their room and say, what's up?
Can I add a caveat to that? Because I don't want people to hear, don't talk.
No, fine.
Definitely not. I don't want people to say, oh, well, you said talk.
Talk,
now,
don't talk.
But now you're saying don't talk.
I'm saying talk, don't take out.
Yeah, there's a difference. What you say matters, and I think it's okay to let your kids know, hey, you know, Dad's just going through some stuff right now. It's okay. I love you, you know, and don't hide it. That's not what we're saying. Don't hide it. Be willing to share that with somebody, but don't be a jerk. Right. That's a big part of it. Is that, yeah, you get balled up, you get stressed out, and then it just goes pop like that. And it goes everywhere. Shrapnel hits everybody in your house.
Yep.
Shrapnel being anger in this case, or other things.
Yeah. And let's face facts. Now you get more of a mess on your hands because your significant other's not happy with you. You feel bad about how you treated somebody. You know, you dogged out your roommate for leaving dishes in the sink, and it's like, well, what was the big deal? That wasn't a deal yesterday. Like, whatever it is.
This isn't the place necessarily for marriage advice, but I would give one recommendation for that, and realize when that happens, you have the potential of starting up the crazy cycle.
Sure.
And I'll let you guys do some digging on the crazy cycle if you would like to. But it's been a very helpful little visual thing for me to remember of, like, am I going to spool up a crazy cycle here? You have a big potential of doing that, especially if you're in a place where you're stressed out.
Yeah. So in summary, find the right place to talk about it. And that's not necessarily when you're in front of everybody in a leadership position. And don't dump it on people that don't deserve it.
So does that classify, like, does that count for a podcast? Like, is this me dumping on people, or like what? Is that what's happening here? Is this your passive way of telling me?
Only 5 or 10. I don't know. How many people listen to this anyway?
Is this your passive way of telling me, Tyler, dude, like, you probably shouldn't have said that? You're dumping on her.
Since our main listener is like our mom.
I'm expecting a text.
You're just telling mom. That's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, honey, I didn't realize you felt that way. I'm so sorry. Do you want some eggs?
We're going to find out this week whether mom did listen to the episode or not.
Mom, we're good on eggs. Thanks, though. Appreciate it. Well, all right, guys. Well, hopefully I've got it figured out by next week. But in case I don't, go build something awesome.